Okay. Greetings, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Ross, and I am a parent of a 14-year-old deaf and hard of hearing child who's a bilateral cochlear implant user. She's currently in ninth grade, and she is my wife. I currently serve as the SE Hands and Voices president. I've been with the organization for the whole duration, and we've been an official chapter for 10 years now, just celebrated our official 10-year anniversary. But many of you know that we're a parent-driven nonprofit organization, and we're dedicated to supporting SC families with children who are deaf and hard of hearing. Our big thing is we are unbiased about communication methodologies and believe that families can make the best choices for their child if they have access to good information and support. So our membership includes families who communicate manually and orally, and our organization represents people from different approaches to an experience with deafness or hearing loss. So our chapter is comprised of mainly parents and caregivers, but also the professionals that work with them. And speaking of professionals, I always like to give a shout out with Beginnings SC, because we do this joint Topic Tuesday joint with Beginnings SC. So we thank them for their participation. So Topic Tuesday came about because we wanted to help inform the deaf and hard of hearing community on information on deaf and hard of hearing service providers. As well, you all wanted feedback on parents and their journeys and things. And so this 2024 year, we have alternated between professionals and parents. So I want to first thank in advance our interpreter and Relay SC for captioning this evening. We greatly appreciate you. I don't want to forget that. And I want to give a formal thank you to our speaker, Ukawia Johnson. And she will be doing a presentation on Real this evening. And again, we'll get a formal presentation. Question and answer will be after we stop recording and get a little informal with your guys' feedback. But I'll go ahead and turn it over to our presenter. Thank you so much, Ukawia Johnson.
Thank you for having me. Like Jocelyn said, I'm Ukawia Johnson. I work with the Regional Early Acquisition of Language Project, and that is based in Talladega, Alabama. I am a trainer. We can go ahead to the next slide.
Okay.
So a little bit about me. This is my darling family, family of boys.
Yeah.
I am the mother of two wonderful young men. My oldest son, Lil Jaren, he's 28, he's hearing. My youngest son, James, he's 25, he's hard of hearing. He communicates primarily using American Sign Language. And then there's my beautiful grandson, Jason. I would have done all these pictures of Jason if I didn't have to talk a little bit about James. Jason is 4, and Jason, his sign vocabulary might be about 10. Now he tries and he teaches his mom, he teaches her wrong, but he's enthusiastic about it. And so that's a good thing. And he likes to communicate with his Uncle Jack, is what he calls him. So these are just, some pictures. I like using everyday photos because I think sometimes we just forget that, life be life. And so these, my children, they don't really like the one in the bottom left-hand corner, because we was at a birthday party and my nephew's birthday party, and we weren't polished. But hey, this journey isn't polished. So that's my favorite photo. We can go ahead to the next slide. So a little bit about REAL. So REAL, Regional Early Acquisition of Language Project, and it is a collaboration project between the Alabama Institute for Deaf and Blind and Gallaudet University's Clare Center. Essentially, our mission is for children and their families to be inclusive, for children to be included within their families' lives, their family situations, families' culture and information, as well as the community. And so our goal is to help families build their network of providers and support system and increase their toolkit so they can support their child's language acquisition. Currently, we provide supports for, I'm going to try to do this off the cuff, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, South Carolina, North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia, Arkansas, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. We could go ahead to the next slide. So why the Real Project? Why are we in existence? The Real Project, it exists to ensure full and early language access for deaf and hard of hearing children. We want children to be school ready by the time they hit preschool. Essentially, our vision is to end language deprivation. That's the goal. Big goal, but we're gonna do it. But we can't do it alone. Our goal is to end language deprivation for children through advocacy, through education, through resource development, both for families as well as professionals, because we as professionals, we need to increase our resource knowledge in order to link families to those resources. Next. Children need language. The needs of children are real. We consider our work to be urgent and crucial because we know that 90% of a child's brain is developed by the time they reach 5 years old. So we want to get that, we want to encourage professionals and families to get that input early. So the child has a better chance of being on par with their peers by the time they reach school age. Next slide, please. Approximately 95% of deaf and hard of hearing children are born to hearing parents. And I said that to say what? I said that to say that other parents like me probably had little to no knowledge about deafness. I mean, I had little to no knowledge about children. And uh, so, they have we had little to no knowledge about deafness, right? So what that means is we need additional support. I needed a lot of support because many times families, their hesitancy, their apprehension is not about the child that they have in their arms today. So it's not about the 6-month-old beautiful bundle of joy. It's about the 16-year-old. It's about that 18-year-old. What is life going to be like? Because a lot of times we as parents, we get stuck in our inaccurate perception and our stigmatized thoughts that we grieve an occurrence that hadn't happened. So where we grieve our children not having friends or not being able to drive or not being able to graduate high school because that's not something we can imagine, right? Oftentimes it's hard to imagine things outside of your own experiences. And if I have never experienced certain situations or certain triumphs from certain individuals, it's hard for me to believe that that can happen. So that's why we talk a lot about representation. And I think that's another slide, so we can go to the next one. So a lot of times I have slides as just because they're cute, because I'll be talking and I'll be on slide 16 and we're still on slide 5. But hey, I inserted where the conversation leads. So families' needs are real. Raising a child involves many unknowns, and raising a child who's deaf and hard of hearing brings on even more unknowns. And families deserve to know and be able to be encouraged to experience and celebrate the whole child. Because oftentimes, we attend doctor's appointments and, we attend different, early intervention appointments or coordinator appointments, and we're so focused on hearing. And I think parents need to be reminded, us as parents need to be reminded to take a step back and just enjoy the whole child, because your child is more than your child's hearing level. They're more than their disability. My son, and I tell all his business, y'all. If you Google me, you're gonna see all my baby business. James has cerebral palsy, and he is hard of hearing. He right now he is moderate to severe in one ear and severe to profound in the other ear. And he has such a sense of humor. He's so proud of himself, and he believes in himself. And the only way he could be that proud and believe, I had to believe in him. But I didn't at first, because it was past my understanding. But once I received the tools, I was able to believe, and I was able to envision a future that was successful and happy for him. And thus he was able to envision that future. We talk a lot about advocacy. I teach him about advocacy. And who knew that I'll be the person he was advocating against? He advocating for himself against me with the tools I gave him. Because he wanted to go away for school, and I just wasn't ready. But because of me teaching him how to advocate and being proud and believing in himself, he decided he wanted to go away for school. And that was one of those things where we had to follow his journey. His path is different from others' path. Not all paths are the same. And with the proper tools and support, parents will then be able to embrace their child's journey, whatever that looks like. And it changes. We went from mainstream to deaf and hard of hearing to residential school. So we did it all. Whatever stop he was at on his journey was where we were. Professionals. Let's see. Oh, she moved me right along. I was talking too much, y'all. So what are some things that we provide? Some things that we provide for professionals: consultations. We host workshops. We have different training sessions. This picture is actually from a training session with the Alabama EI team. We did a retreat last year. And sometimes in these training sessions or in these workshops, a professional with real may not be the person to provide you that particular workshop or training, depending on your needs. And if we're not the best professional to get you the information and the training and supports that you need, we will help you find that professional. And in most cases, we will support you in paying expenses for that particular professional. Local networking and resource sharing. I did this event like 2 weeks ago, and it was fantastic. We were a bunch of professionals within the same area able to get together. Many times we may have heard of a service or may have, heard of a professional, but wasn't able to really put a face with a name or understand all the resources that particular agency had to offer. Well, this particular event, we were able to do that. We had some networking exercises as well as some roundtable discussions, and we were able to discuss some of the needs within the populations that we serve and able to share some information amongst each other. And we left there with a valuable toolkit. We can go to the next slide. Some of the things we offer for families, we offer resource materials, technology. We pay for memberships to American Society for Deaf Children for those families who are interested in those webinars as well as those ASL classes. There are some other benefits of having a membership to American Society for Deaf Children, because a lot of times people think that, okay, well, you got to do the ASL classes. But they also have this group's called Kids Like Me. It's a support group. Well, not support group. It's just a teen group for children who are deaf and hard of hearing with other peers within their age range. And they have different activities and they do it virtually. So I think that's amazing. We offer different workshops for families. We pay for families to attend conferences. as well as family retreats. We host and sponsor and pay fully for family retreats. This particular picture is from a family retreat we did in Dollywood, and I was doing a journaling workshop. We provide the journals and all the things, and families really had a good time. Another thing we do with professionals that I didn't mention is we offer scholarships to professionals to attend conferences as well as pay for college courses. If those courses would aid the professional in working with families or children who are deaf and hard of hearing from birth to 3. Next slide, please. We provide resource boxes. So families that are connected with us, we send them a resource box. And in that resource box, we have some goodies. We have blankets and little sippy cups. There's an iPad. There's the case for the iPad, some books. And this particular resource box also comes with a membership for American Society for Deaf Children. And I think there are a few other odds and ends that are in the box as well. I think I see a little rubber ducky in the box, but mainly they will receive those flashcards, those books, as well as the iPad that are loaded with resources. So these are just a couple of photos from different events. We had a snow cone soiree in the park in June, and that was an opportunity for families of children who are deaf and hard of hearing and other members in the community just to have a good time. We played in the splash pad, and everybody who came by, they were able to get a snow cone sponsored by Real. We had story time. Everyone received a copy of the book to take home. The one of the middle pictures with the giant Connect Four, that was at an ASDC family weekend. And that's one of the families that we sponsored to attend that event in Nebraska. I think we were in Nebraska. And then the one on the end, that was from a lovely little home consultation that I did, and he didn't want us to leave. So those are just some of the things that Real does and some of the ways that Real can support families. I'm gonna see if this video will play. This is the Kilpatrick family, and I want you to meet Q. You just want to look at the page.
We're doing the colors blue, purple.
So although Q in that video was not producing many signs, he was having a good time. And mom allowed him to turn the pages. He was one of our first children, one of our first kids. Next slide, please. So this was feedback from Q's mom. It says, the Real Project has been a part of our lives since summer of 2020. Months before finding out Real, we had just found out that our youngest son was profoundly deaf. I had so many questions and didn't know where to start. But one day while scrolling on Facebook during the pandemic, I saw a post from Real offering ASL classes for families with deaf and hard of hearing kids from birth to 3. At that time, my son was 11 months old. I immediately contacted the program and have been connected ever since. I have gained a plethora of knowledge about different resources and supports available to my family, so we can ensure my son has what he needs to be successful. Another thing that drew me to Real was the diversity. Through Real, I was able to meet another Black mom who has a kid that is deaf. Being able to talk with her and share experiences has helped me realize that I can handle this, and my child has access to many opportunities. From the ASL Connect lessons in partnership with Gallaudet to the amazing family educators, my family has benefited from everything the Real has to offer. Some children need, well, I often say deaf and hard of hearing children need the same thing that children with typical hearing need. They need support. They need access to language. They need a supportive environment. They need high expectations. And they need role models and language models. Can we play this video, please? This is a very short one. That was a young girl with her deaf mentor. And she and her deaf mentor, they are what they say, thicker than thieves. That was at one of the snow cone soirees. And this is a message from her mom. Said community is so important. I am so glad that TK has a village of deaf adults and peers that surround her and support all of us. So what can you do? As families, you can maybe attend deaf events. Surround yourself with community. Surround your child with community. Let your child see the endless possibilities. Always share your culture and tradition and holidays. You know, children learn so much at school. You want them to learn what you want them to learn. They need to understand the culture of your home. They need to be included in, home discussions and holidays and understand family values. And we all just need to be dedicated and informed. And we also need to monitor the child's language development and be able to support their needs. So what can Real offer families? Unbiased and evidence-based resources and support, resources to support the child's language acquisition. And for as professionals, you can expect us to support you in increasing your resources and your tools. We will connect families or attempt to connect families to other families. And we do this by those family engagement weekends, or, we used to do like virtual Zoom parties. And we haven't done them, in the last few months, but we used to do virtual Zoom parties. And you can connect families to other deaf adults. Access to language is important to a child's development. A child identified as being deaf or hard of hearing can develop age-appropriate language and skills, and we need to remind parents of that. And again, celebrate the whole child and be patient with themselves. Us as parents, we tend to beat ourselves up a lot, and we need to be reminded to just give ourselves grace. Do we have time to play that video? There's no perfect balance, but that's not the goal. The goal is to be inclusive. The goal is to make sure that your child understands that they're loved and that they're supported. So that ends our formal presentation. Here's my contact information, is our website, as well as my email address. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much, Ukawia Johnson. I will go ahead and stop the recording and we'll proceed with our informal Q&A. Thank you.
Oh,
Wait.
Jocelyn,